This channel's first video was about making a simple Pong game in Godot 4. It was a one-off, spontaneous thing, but I just couldn't let it go. My brain kept firing off ideas, thinking of all the ways I could expand that tiny project into something bigger. That led to a second update where I started adding variety to the gameplay. And now we are here with the third major update. This one is absolutely packed. We've got a brand new game mode. We've completely overhauled the old solo mode, rebalanced the scoring system, fixed a game-breaking integral limit, and made major improvements to the gameplay pacing, the ball physics, and even patched up the computer AI. On top of that, we have given the game a massive visual and auditory glow-up, with better glowing effects and new sound effects from Portal 2 to replace the old Minecraft ones. I'll explain why that change makes perfect sense in a bit. We have also built a proper fully featured settings menu, added a what's new tab to track updates, and I might have removed Herobrine. You will have to keep your eyes open and let me know if he shows up. So let's not waste any more time and dive right into the biggest addition, Blitz Mode. I took huge inspiration from Bejeweled 3 Lightning Mode. I wanted a fast-paced, timed mode that would really push players. You start with a timer that counts down from up to 1 minute. The core loop is that you can refill this timer by scoring. Each score stores 5 seconds in a time tank. I need a better name for that, with a maximum storage of 30 seconds per player. When the main timer hits 0, whatever time you've stored in your tank gets used to refill it, and every single time the timer is refilled, a global score multiplier increases by 1. Now, scoring always gives you a base of 10 points, which gets multiplied by the current multiplier. You also have a personal rally counter that tracks how many times you've hit the ball in a single rally. If you score, your rally counter resets. To mimic Bejeweled's blazing speed effect, I made it so that whenever any player's rally counter has a multiple of 10, a special time break triggers. The timer pauses for 7 seconds. If a player misses during this high pressure moment, the score for that miss is multiplied by 10. Finally, the end game. When the timer hits 0 and there's no time left in anyone's tanks, the multiplier increases 1 last time, and a final desperate rally begins. The ball's speed doubles, making it incredibly hard to keep up. This last hurrah continues until someone finally misses, and when that happens, the game ends, and the player with the highest score wins. Making this work required a whole new set of variables to handle the game state. The timer, the time bank, the multiplier, and the blazing speed state. I modified the goal areas so that scoring doesn't just add points, but also manages that 5-second time storage. The reset function, which usually just puts the ball back in the center, now also checks if the game should end. The main process function is the brain of it all. It handles the countdown, the blazing speed countdown, the timer display format, and managing the input for the pause and end game menus. Speaking of the timer, formatting it for display was a fun little challenge. I am using the fmod function to extract the seconds from the total time, and then some string formatting to ensure minutes and seconds are always displayed correctly, with leading zeros so it always looks clean, like I made it 05 instead of I made it 5. Next up, let's talk about squash mode. During development, Instagram dropped an Easter egg in their DMs, a little Pong minigame when you tap on a single emoji. It was very similar to my old solo mod, but the Instagram version made it feel a bit limited. That inspired me to research about actual squash and adapt it to Pong. The old solo mod is now squash. In the single-player version, your score increases every time you hit the ball, but if you let it pass you, your score resets to 0, just like in that Instagram game. But the real competitive twist comes when you play against another paddle. A second score appears, and now the paddles switch sides whenever the ball bounces off a paddle, or if no one hits it. It's my own take on squash, adapted for the Pong game. To make the paddle switching work, I created a new function that triggers with every paddle hit. It calls a switch function on both paddles, toggling a variable that tells them if they are on the advantage side or not. Their process functions then automatically move them to the correct position. Now, a critical fix. The scoring system from the last update was broken. It multiplied your current heat streak by your score, which let points skyrocket insanely fast. We're talking about values so high they hit the 64-bit integer limit. That is 9,223,373,854,775,807. You get the idea. A ridiculously big number. Once you pass it, the number wraps around and goes negative. So we have now implemented clamping on both the rally counters and the scores. This means the value can go up to that insane maximum, but it will never go beyond it, preventing the score from ever turning negative again. With scoring fixed, it was time to make the core gameplay more exciting. I rebuilt the ball's physics from the ground up. Now, when the ball is served, it randomizes its direction, left or right, and up, down, or even straight, making each serve unpredictable. The biggest change is the momentum transfer. The paddles now impart their momentum into the ball. During playtesting, this made the ball's movement incredibly vertical, so I had to add some momentum loss to the paddles and a reduction in the ball's vertical velocity to keep things balanced and playable. Then there's the computer paddle AI. Other Pong projects just mindlessly follow the ball's vertical position, which looked terrible in my opinion. My initial improvement was to make it predict where the ball would land, which initially worked, but it would shoot over the top or bottom edge, ignoring that the ball would bounce, leading to frantic, unnecessary movement. The new function simulates the ball bouncing off the walls by mirroring its coordinates. This ensures the paddle's predicted interception point is always within the legal vertical bounds. The result? Guess what? It is now a worthy opponent, if you will. Moving on from code, let's talk about the new look and feel. All the original assets were made in PowerPoint. For this update, I remade every single sprite in Blender, using its fog glow nodes to create a much more professional CGI level glow for the paddles and the ball. This new neon digital aesthetic made the Minecraft sounds feel out of place. Looks were giving me this Tron Legacy or Heartlight vibe, and what better source for Heartlight sounds than Portal 2? So I replaced all the menu and gameplay sounds with audio from Aperture Science. These are placeholders for now, but they fit the theme perfectly, at least until I can create my own. I also added two visual effects. First, a trail for the ball using a line 2D node. The script makes it follow the ball with special handling to prevent it from drawing a huge line across the screen when the ball resets to the center after a score. The second effect is a collision flash on the walls. I created character body 2D nodes that follow the ball's vertical and horizontal position. When the ball collides with a wall, an area 2D detects it and triggers a subtle light animation along that edge, similar to the Atari Pong coffee table. Now, back to the tough stuff. A proper setting system. I created a config file handler script and added it as an autoload, so it's globally accessible. It handles saving and loading our settings to a config file. On startup, it creates a set of default values. For instance, WASD bindings, 1080p full screen, medium trail length, and all volumes at max. The new options menu has a tab for gameplay, video, and audio. The user interface is built with a tab container, and each tab has a panel for the controls and a panel that displays a title and description for whatever setting you are hovering over. For video, the main settings are resolution, full screen toggle, and a slider for the ball trail length. Honestly, the long trail looks super cool. It reminds me of the Geometry Dash Wave or Hyperforma. However, it could be distracting to some people who just want to lock in, so I decided to let the players choose their favorite length. For gameplay, the main setting right now is a simple toggle to switch the single player controls from WASD to the arrow keys. To make the settings actually work, every relevant scene like the player controller and the trail effect emits a custom signal to the options menu. This allows the menu to find them and use the config file handler to update their variables in real time. As the updates pile up, I wanted a way to document what's new, hence the name of this window. So I added a What's New button to the title screen. When you click it, a semi-transparent panel slides in from the far lands of the scene, covering the entire screen to prevent any accidental clicks on the buttons underneath. It lists all of the new features in this update with a simple button to send it back. And speaking of the title screen, here's a completely unnecessary but fun detail. The ball in the main menu is now a physical object. I gave it a character body 2D and gave the cursor an invisible collision shape 2D. So now you can actually bounce the menu ball around with your mouse. It's a small thing, but it makes the game feel more interactive. And finally, a crucial refactoring note. I found a deprecated function call in the main game loop that was creating a phantom kinematic body 2D node with null properties. It wasn't crashing the game or anything, but it was a memory leak and frankly a bit spooky. I patched it out. The changelog, of course, lists this as removed Herobrine. It's a joke. Mojang sadly abandoned, but I am keeping it alive. That's everything for this massive update. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the new modes and the visual overhaul in the comments section, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.